Shama! Bharat says Shama. What up, everybody? This is my most anticipated show of all time in the history of the 10-7 because what we witnessed on Saturday might be at the top of my list for great moments as a UFC fan. I'm gonna tell you a couple of reasons why. So number one, we had Alex Pereira last year as one of my highlights of my MMA fandom career. And that was against Khalil Roundtree when he had that amazing back and forth fight. That went to the top of my list as one of the greatest fights I've ever seen, just the back and forth, the struggle, etc. This tops it, and the card as a whole tops it, but this moment and that fight tops the list of everything. We're gonna get right in the mix because we got to talk about this. And me and Justin, by the way, right before the show started, we watched that fight one more time. Guess what? They put the entire fight of Alex Pereira defeating Ankalaev on YouTube for free, which they almost never do. They did that for when Sean O'Malley beat Aljo, and they put the fight up, or at least the highlight knockout and the finish. They put the entire thing. It's only a minute, like 20 seconds. They put the whole thing up here. Guys, what we have just witnessed, in my opinion, is in the modern era, in the modern day, the birth of the face of the UFC. He already was in a lot of ways. It's undeniable. I'm sorry. And even though I'm a massive fan of Khamzat Chimaev, right now the truth is that Alex Pereira is the face of the UFC, trumping even Islam Makhachev, trumping even Ilia Topuria. And I'm going to turn it over to Justin to talk. I want to hear your perspective before I wax on poetic forever in terms of what does this mean? Give us the fighter perspective. He did not just win. He won the middleweight title, then he lost it, moved up, won the light heavyweight title, went on this streak. People like Anthony Smith saying he's going to have trouble as soon as he goes against a wrestler. He's avoiding Magomed Ankalaev. He fights Magomed Ankalaev finally. He gets defeated. It was a close decision, but he gets defeated. And then to ante up and come back, and not only to win, not eke out a close decision, but to dominate. And in the words of Jiri Prochazka, fight a perfect fight and reclaim the lightweight title once again. Justin, take it away. As an MMA fighter, as a professional fighter who's fought in the UFC, what does this mean?
Man, I mean, talk about greatness. Being able to lose everything and get it all back, it's one of the hardest things to do in all of sports, especially MMA, because you don't have your team there to back you up. I mean, MMA is a team sport, but at the end of the day, you're in there by yourself doing your thing, and to lose and essentially lose everything in that decision and to come back with such a dominant performance just shows the world what kind of person Alex Pereira is and what kind of fighter he is, man. And man, I am beyond happy for him. I know in my prediction video I had Ankalaev winning, but the fight went a lot different than my breakdown was. Pereira was very obviously pressuring forward where he doesn't get to do that. And if you guys heard what I said in the breakdown video is when Pereira can get guys to stand in front of him, and that's when he can pick his shots, that's when he's going to have success. And I felt that Ankalaev wasn't going to stand in front of him. He'd back up. He'd move laterally left and right. But by Pereira's pressure, putting his back against the fence, and I felt like this must have been a game plan because when Ankalaev's inching backwards, he's very hard to hit. But when you put that cage behind him, essentially he made Ankalaev stand in front of him because he couldn't move backwards anymore. He was able to pick his shots and get a knockout. So although my prediction was right, I still feel very strong about my breakdown.
Okay, so you mentioned one thing. This speaks to the type of person that he is, the type of fighter that he is. What type of person is he? What type of fighter is he in your estimation?
What do you mean by that?
Like you're saying, okay, this says something amazing about him coming back and being able to reclaim victory after getting it, losing it, getting it, losing it, getting it again. So you said this speaks to the type of person that he is, the type of character, the type of fighter. So what does this tell you? Like, for example, does this mean, man, this guy must have one of the greatest mindset of all time? Does this mean this guy must have the best work ethic? What does that say to you about him as a person, fighter to fighter?
Yeah, just the mindset, man. I mean, it's just this is what separates him from the average pack. You have your herd of sheep and then you have the wolves. And this guy is a wolf, man. He doesn't like that. It's so hard to come back from losses, especially losses like that. And to come back and not only win, but to win as dominantly as he did is one of the most impressive things in all of combat sports.
Man, I have never screamed as loud as I did when Pereira, sorry, I'm having something delivered here. I'm trying to manage that too here. I apologize. I have never screamed that loud after somebody won in my life that I can recall. Even when Khamzat steamrolled Robert Whittaker. Again, part of what makes these fights so incredible in particular here is this notion of the stakes. Like Pereira would still be a huge star in the UFC. Don't get me wrong, but this was a big deal. If he would have lost, I think a lot of people would have doubted if he would have ever had the chance to go back out there and get the belt again, or maybe get a title shot at heavyweight, but he'd have to win at least one fight. It was going to be a longer road. The fact that he came out there and put it on Ankalaev this way was so incredible for his career and for the UFC as a whole. But on top of that, there's a bigger narrative here, and I'm going to read through some comments really quickly, but there's a bigger narrative here, which is what people thought Ankalaev was. They thought that Ankalaev was the kryptonite to Alex Pereira, that he was avoiding him, that he was at the UFC was trying to help him out. They gave him Khalil when they should have given him Ankalaev, and that was a favor to him because they wanted to keep his reign alive. They were protecting him. And then, of course, Ankalaev comes and Ankalaev beats him, which a lot of people thought. MMA Joey, somebody I love to listen to, was just going on and on about Ankalaev as a superior kickboxer, superior fighter. Pereira is this, that, whatever. And I don't know what his problem is with Pereira, but he was saying all these things. And then now we come back after Anthony Smith says he's good at that one thing. Anybody tries to wrestle him, he's done. I don't understand his reign. And then Ankalaev comes and shows that, okay, he didn't get taken down, but he got beat. And then now to come back saying that I was only 40% or 45% or whatever, people not believing him, you even wondering, is it truth or is it not truth? Coming back and showing, yo, that was 100% the truth. He came back, not only won, he annihilated Ankalaev, who had a 14-win unbeaten streak, smashed him beyond, just obliterated him. So to me, I'm so fired up. I'm so happy for Alex Pereira. And this is also a triumph that speaks to me on a personal level, saying anything is achievable. This guy comes in as a kickboxer. Of course, everybody is thinking his weakness will be anybody with half decent grappling, and he's just not going to be able to bridge that gap in this short amount of time. He proved everybody wrong. He has somehow done the impossible, bridging this gap and developing the chops in mixed martial arts after a career in kickboxing to be arguably one of the greatest fighters of all time. It's just mind-blowing stuff, and it's so inspirational. I'm going to go to a couple of comments, and then I want to break down exactly what he did in this fight because we just rewatched it. So Western puts in here, he's got the Peloton thing. Barat says Shama, and he's talking about why did the UFC put it on the YouTube channel. Of course, it's because he is a star, and it's smart to attract new fans 100%. Western says that performance was incredible. Bro has won 3 belts 100%. Hanging with Mike in the mix. He made Ankh look scared. I think Ankh was shocked. I think he was surprised and he was confused. He had a game plan and it was completely thrown off because Alex came out with a 10 times better game plan. And those 12-6 elbows were beautiful. Anybody who says this was an early stoppage, you have lost your mind. You have completely lost any semblance of a hold on reality. When I was watching this fight, granted, I was calling for the stoppage before it came. Now, I'm a little biased because I was really rooting for Alex to win. But rewatch that fight. There was no way that was an early stoppage. Ankalaev was doing nothing. He was curled up into a ball and getting elbows through the guard. I mean, do you agree with me, Justin? People who are saying it's an early stoppage, I don't even have words for them.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And the reason I'm agreeing with you is because Ankalaev was fine with the stoppage. And that's where when the defeated fighter is okay with the stoppage, Ankalaev didn't contest. He didn't jump up and say, what the heck? Like, he laid there and was like, damn, I just lost. When the fighter that lost, like, okay, you look at back when I fought Taco back in California and Chris Lieben, I'm getting hit. I'm like, hey, Chris, like he's hitting me in the back of the head. Chris Lieben jumps in, waves it off. And I stand up like, what the fuck? Like, what are you stopping this fight for? That's when like we have problems with it. But when the defeated fighter in any circumstance, you remember when Jiri got knocked out by Pereira and everyone's like, oh my God, early stoppage. But Jiri come out and say, no, it was a fine stoppage. Like everyone needs to shut the fuck up and let the fighters do the talking.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Ankalaev laid there almost in disbelief, in shock. He had no answer. So give me a break. I don't even want to. I know there's just the tiniest rumblings. I know it's not a big crowd that's saying that, but to even hint that this is any sort of an early stoppage, I think is an insult. I think it's people who had picked Ankalaev and wanted Ankalaev to win, and they're just having trouble accepting reality. But it was just so beautiful. Take it away.
So you just said something very strange. People that wanted Ankalaev to win. There were people that wanted him to win. Did you hear the boos in that building? Did you hear the Chama chants? I don't think there was anybody besides maybe some Dagestani fighters that wanted him to win.
That's what I'm saying. And like, also, of course, you know, I'm a fan of MMA Joey. I love his takes. I think he actually knows the sport really well. He actually was a big proponent. He was really rooting for Ankalaev. He's a fan of Ankalaev. So it is what it is. Lane is back in the mix. One more shot. We need all the people that have been on the show before that want to, you know, talk to us and comment. We need everybody back because this is one of the most, this is, to me, I don't even know. This is like the highlight of my time as a UFC fan. On top of that, I love the Conor fight when he fought and fought Khabib. I'm going way back in the day, back to 2018. That was an amazing moment. But now this victory, who is not more beloved than Alex Pereira? He has no haters, except for, okay, like a small 1%. This guy's the most beloved guy. Ariel goes on a whole tangent today talking about how Alex Pereira is amazing because he's genuine, sincere, honest. He's just a good guy. You know, I should have known to believe him from the get-go about the 40% because he's not that type of guy to make stuff up, make excuses. He speaks the truth. And he was speaking the truth, and he showed us that it was the truth. But in retrospect, nobody should have doubted him. So for him to get this victory and come back and show the world what's up to such an amazing guy, what a role model. It just, I'm beyond cloud 9 right now. I don't even know what to say. Tehran says, what's up, fellas? Tehran, what are your feelings right now with this amazing victory? I want to know. Lane says, never doubted him for a second. I only knew 2 other people that picked him. Listen, we doubted him. I mean, again, it was a technical breakdown that Justin did, and I was obviously leaning towards his expertise and agreed in terms of the stylistic difficulties. But what we didn't realize was just how right Pereira was in terms of the disadvantage and how slow he was and how he didn't look like himself. People said, oh, maybe it was Ankh that made him look like that. No, he was real. It was real. It was all real. I don't know what even to say. Justin, are you as amped as I am in terms of this victory? Or are you not? Or there have been much bigger moments in your life as a UFC fan?
No, dude, I'm as amped. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, guys, man. I'm really hyped for him. I'm excited for him. And I mean, out of anybody that doesn't speak English, he's definitely one of my favorite guys, if not my favorite guy. You know, when I made my prediction video, I predicted Ankalaev to win. But again, I didn't anticipate the pressure from Pereira. Pereira came at him like he wanted to kill him. We've never seen that side. I can't recall a time where we've ever seen that before. He always kind of sits back and he waits for his shots. And, you know, you get guys like Sean Strickland that are inching forward, which essentially is like him sitting still. You guys like Adesanya, where he was able to put his back against the fence, pick his shots before he got knocked out. You have guys like, you know, I'm trying to think, Jamal Hill, who kind of just stood there in front of him. You know, Alex didn't need to press him, but he came right at him. And I tell you what, like, although my prediction had Ankalaev winning, when I made that next video the next day from the press conference, when everyone, like, as soon as I saw that video, I was just a 2-minute little snippet that I made, but my emotions started to change. My feelings started to change. And I'll tell you what, I withdrew my bet on Ankalaev.
Oh, you did?
I end up after that, because I usually wait for the day of to see where the money's going to go. And then like right before, maybe a match or 2 before, is when I'll place my bet. But something about that press conference just kind of made me sway the other way. And I was like, you know what? I'm not putting any money on this fight. And I'm glad I didn't.
Well, I went the other way. I did put a little money on the fight Saturday. That day, it was, again, I made a video the morning of actually talking about how I was switching my pick to Alex. I wasn't going to put in, I generally am not a bettor. I don't like to bet really on fights because I love the fight. The feeling doesn't change when I win money or lose money versus like just my general excitement level, because that's just how I am as a fan. So what's the point? But I don't know. Something came over me. I just made a little bet, $200 just for the heck of it. And I won like $480 because your boy got me really good odds. So that was a little icing on the cake. Honestly, I don't even think it matters because I would have been just as excited had I not placed the bet. It was so incredible. It's like right now is such an amazing time to be a deep, hardcore UFC fan, because we understand all the moving pieces, the things that are about to happen, the stage that is going to get put on, the June 14th White House card, which we're going to talk about at the end of the show. And then we have the stars that are carrying this organization on its back. Alex Pereira, we have Hamzat Chimaev, we have Ilia Topuria, we have Islam Makhachev, we have Merab Dvalishvili, who's now becoming a huge star. We have maybe John Jones returning. I mean, my mind is a flutter with all the happenings and movements in the UFC, and to be a part of it and to know it as intricately well as we do, and to have the pleasure of, we don't have the biggest platform, but we have a platform. We have people that show up that we get to talk to about this sport, go back and forth and have fun. It's just the greatest time to be a UFC fan. And I don't know. I'm just so happy. And like I said, I'm lucky I didn't lose my voice, because I was screaming so hard. Okay, we got to move on, but we're still talking about Pereira here, and we're going to talk about who's next for him, because this has been the big question. Now, we're going to talk about Jiri. Don't worry. Do not worry. But Jiri obviously had an amazing win. Some people are saying maybe he gets a title shot next. I don't know. Obviously, Carlos Ulberg is there in the mix. We have the rumors that Pereira wanted John Jones next, and he was going to call him out, but he chose not to because of the tragedy that has befallen John Jones's family. So we have a lot of options. There's even a potential option for him to move up and challenge for the heavyweight title after Cyril Gane faces off with Tom Aspinall. And how dope would Cyril Gane versus Alex Pereira be? But anyways, Justin, let me turn it over to you. What are some of the things that you think makes the most sense for Alex Pereira next, or what would you want to see?
Man, it just depends. Does he want to go to the heavyweight strap? I mean, I support whatever he decides to do. He wants to stay at light heavyweight and just reign supreme. I'm all for that. He wants to go up to heavyweight and really test to be great. I support that as well. This guy has done so much in the sport. He's a 3-belt champion in the UFC. Whatever he decides to do, I fully support. I don't care. I just can't. This is the thing. When it comes to Alex Pereira, he always wants the toughest task. This guy's not taking – he's not taking shortcuts. And a lot of people, oh, he's ducking Ankh. He's dunking Ankh. Like, come on, man. Like, dude, I don't think this guy ducks anybody. I think he's all about his legacy, and whoever he decides to fight will be the best fight.
No, it was the UFC that gave him Khalil. It was not, I guarantee you, it was not Pereira avoiding Ankalaev. Dude, he's just the greatest champion. He is the greatest. He's an all and I'm saying that as a person who loves to hear the fighter interviews, who really connects most with fighters that can speak English and can talk and communicate so you can get their vibe. I'm saying this about Alex Pereira. He is just the best champion ever. And I'll tell you one thing, I do not ever want to see him lose. That's the only hesitation that I have for wanting him to fight John Jones. I don't even know though now. I actually think he beats John, or could beat John Jones. I didn't feel too confident before. Imagine, Justin, just play it out for me. If he goes in there and theoretically faces John Jones and beats him, what would you say?
I mean, I can't say the number one greatest of all time.
Oh, really? Why?
Because I think the heavyweight division is the weakest division. And I mean, he should beat a lot of the guys there. I know John Jones is great and everything, but I mean, Merab is the greatest to me, man. Merab, the bantamweight division is just so much harder than the heavyweight division. I'm not trying to take away from Alex by any means, but just the talent pool at the lower weight class is just so much more. To go up there and beat one of the greatest, if not the greatest all time, is a huge accomplishment. But you got to realize the guy's had so much time off. He's had so many long intervals of time off in between fights. He hasn't really beaten anybody at heavyweight. You look at Merab, on the other hand, who's beaten champion after champion after champion, and not only champions in the UFC, but Henry Cejudo, Olympic level wrestler, goes in there, beats him at his own game. Jose Aldo, arguably the greatest featherweight of all time, beats him. Peter Yan beats him. Sean O'Malley, two-time champ, or not two-time champ, but beats him twice as the UFC champion. I mean, it will solidify him as one of the greatest of all time, but it's really hard to put him against somebody or above someone like Merab, who is on a 14-fight win streak right now. He has so many title defenses, and bantamweight is just such a harder division than the heavyweight division.
You said something to me over the weekend about Alex Pereira being in the top 5 of greatest of all time. And can you speak a little bit more about why you feel that? I imagine part of it has to do with, again, coming back to this idea, Ankalaev beat him. Everybody thought Ankalaev was the kryptonite. He has no answer. Anthony Smith, as soon as he has anybody with decent grappling, he's cooked. And that played out. And then all of a sudden he comes back and he does, again, obliterates him, makes him look like he doesn't even belong in the fight. Why did you say, expound a little bit more on why you think this places Alex Pereira, this win in particular, in the top 5 GOATs of all time?
Because coming back from a loss is the hardest thing to do in combat sports. There's no question about it. When you lose a fight to somebody, I mean, it's like, a chip on your sometimes, you can respond. That's why I consider George St. Pierre one of the greatest of all time. Gets knocked out by Matt Serra, comes back, beats Matt Serra, goes on this incredible title reign, retires, comes back, wins the middleweight against Michael Bisping. Just when guys can resurge and come back from a loss, It's to me, it's the most impressive thing in all of combat sports. And that's why I put him above someone like Khabib. Like, oh, well, Khabib was unblemished. Listen, Khabib wasn't around very long. If he stuck around for a couple more years and took a couple more hard fights, I believe that Khabib would eventually lose. Alex Pereira, on the other hand, isn't going out when he was on a long win streak right now. He wants to face adversity. And when he does face adversity, he rises to the occasion, which to me puts him in the GOAT talk.
All right, we're going to go through a couple more comments, and then you mentioned Merab. We're going to move right on to that. So people are saying, Western is saying, we agree, Jiri versus Alberg. I'd be so down for that fight if, obviously, Alex moves on. I would like to see Alex versus Alberg, personally. If he stays in the light heavyweight division, I hate to say it, I don't want to see him fight Jiri again. And part of that is because he's beaten him twice. The other part is, like, I don't want to see these two guys fight, and one of them has to lose. You know what I'm saying? I'm such a big fan of both Jiri and Alex. Let's just leave that alone. I don't want to see, even as much as I love Jiri, I don't want to see him go out there and beat Alex. And I don't want to see, so let's just let that be. And then Tehran has a comment here. This is crazy. I was sure they were going to do Ilya versus, what's it called? Patty, but I guess not. Did you guys see the UFC is looking to book Gaethje Topuria for UFC 324 in January? Holloway Pimblett? No. Tehran always knows this stuff, though. Justin, give me your reaction.
I mean, I can't see Patty doing anything to Holloway, but
really,
I mean, dude, no, I mean, but I've been wrong before. And a lot of times I strive off what these guys have done. You know, Holloway's kind of at the end of his career. Patty's just coming through. So, you know, maybe he get the upset alert, but I can't see in any world that Patty's going to be like a favorite in this matchup.
Okay, look, you're the fighter. You probably know the matchups better than I do. But my first thought is with the size that Patty has, because he's going to be way bigger than Max Holloway. And then on top of that, with the grappling and the takedowns, and I know Max is great takedown defense, but I just feel like that mixing things up so to such an extent, plus Patty's amazing jiu-jitsu. I don't know. I would happily bet on Patty. But okay, we're going to talk more. That's amazing. I've been wanting Gaethje versus Topuria. Thank you. Like, let's do that. That's an amazing fight. And then we have Patty afterwards. Hopefully Patty wins, and then we can have this amazing Ilya Topuria fight. But no, I did not know that. That's incredible. Barat says Alex wants heavyweight and told Dana before the fight. Yeah, I heard this. They apparently, like Dana said that at the presser. He's like, hey man, focus on your fight right now. Don't worry about heavyweight. And Lane says Alex walks around to 240 or 245. I'm not saying he'll beat Tom, but that's next on this list. You're right. Khalil was not his choice. Yeah, it wasn't. Look, Dana White did some slick moves to make it sound like Khalil made sense, but obviously they booked Ankalaev against Rakic, and then they're like, hey, he's already booked. We got to put somebody in there. We put Khalil. Like, it was all intentional, obviously. Barat says, I dislike the GOAT debate when it crosses over to all weight classes. It's already a subjective and very nuanced topic. All right, I get what you're saying. It's I don't know. You know what I mean? It's that recency bias. You just see it. You get so amped. But you're right. That is fair. It's a difficult thing to talk about across weight classes. MGAL4 Production says, smashed Magomed. Completely smashed. He says, sup, Justin is cooling off in Vegas. MGAL4 Production says, Pimblett will smash Max on the ground. I agree. And then Topuria puts Justin in another dimension. Okay, let's move it on. I'm going to give you the floor. Talk about your boy. Talk about this win.
Dude, what a great, crazy win. You know, minus 390. I had him coming in. I end up betting this fight, won a couple hundred for me, fortunately. But Merab is just, man, how can you not like this guy? Like, dude, this guy just loves to compete. Like, he's like, guys talk about loving to compete, but you know, when we're walking out, even me, like, I don't smile in my walkout. I'm not smiling, having a good time during the fight. Like, a lot of guys, you know, when fighters like, oh, like when they get a quick finish, oh, I wish the fight would have lasted longer. Like, the longer the fight lasts, the more bad things that can happen. But when it comes to Merab, I genuinely believe he loves the whole process. He loves the walkout. He loves being in the cage. He's talking shit. He's talking to the other guys' coaches. He's smiling. He's laughing. He's dancing. He's having a good time. Like, nobody else in the whole world is like this guy. Merab has now solidified himself with the second longest streak. And I know Ankalaev had a 14-fight win streak as well, but he had one title, or he had one a title fight. He won. So, I mean, it's not as impressive to me. Merab is not only is the champion, I don't know how many title defenses he has right now, but 2 against Sean O'Malley. I don't remember. Umar 18-0 coming in. Henry Cejudo, I don't know if that was a title defense or not.
No,
Peter Yan, like he's beaten all these greats. I mean, he's not just beating contenders, he's beating guys over and over that have been there and done that. Umar, great contender, 18-0 coming into the fight, beats him. I thought Umar was going to win that fight. I was really nervous about Corey Sandhagen, but Corey had nothing for him. Here's the thing, and I said in my breakdown is a lot of people, oh, Corey looked like shit. Listen, Corey fought the best fight to his ability. Corey had a great game plan. Corey looked incredible. He's as tough as they come. But let me tell you this, that is the best Corey, the best version of Corey Sandhagen we have ever seen. Like, how can you take away from this? Guys, sometimes guys show up and they still lose. Mm-hmm. Corey Sandhagen showed up. He crossed all his T's. He dotted all his I's. Everything was great. He had a great game plan, but Merab was just that much better. That's the best version of Corey Sandhagen we have ever seen, and Merab made him look silly.
I didn't think for a second that Corey Sandhagen didn't show up. That didn't even enter my mind.
The best version I've ever seen. Yeah. And people are like, oh, he didn't look. No, Merab is just so good and so dominant that he just made Corey look like that. When I'm telling you guys, Corey did everything right. He didn't talk about, and that's the other thing I a lot of respect about Corey Sandhagen. He didn't after the fight, oh, I was injured. Oh, I had this. Oh, I had corona. I had this or that. No, he's a man and he's like, dude, just like Sean O'Malley in bout number 2. I have so much respect for Sean O'Malley. Quote Sean O'Malley, Merab is a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Sean O'Malley didn't make it my hand hurt. Oh, this hurt. No, Sean O'Malley dotted all his I's, crossed all his T's. He showed up to fight and he still lost. And that's why Merab is the greatest fighter of all time.
Wow. Showbiz Stories might be new in the mix, says Shama. Could Merab be #1 pound for pound tomorrow? I was actually just thinking that. Okay, we got a couple more comments I want to highlight, and these are questions probably for you, Justin. And Western says, honestly, who's left for Merab? What do you think?
Let's pull up the rank. I mean, it has to be Umar. It has to be a rematch with Umar.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think you're right. Hold on. Let me see. UFC rankings. I guess it would have to be. It's kind of sucks for Merab that he's got to fight these guys and then it beats such tough competition. They have to just fight him again.
He wants to.
He wants to. Okay.
He's not like a normal human being. This guy really wants to. I've also heard a rumor of Pantoja going up.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But then I know a lot of folks are saying Pantoja is just going to be way too. Do you think Pantoja will have a shot? I mean, considering the size difference?
No, but it makes sense.
Let's see.
Who's going to beat? Who else is going to go? Is Batista still on a win streak? Batista was on like an 8-fight win streak for a long time. He might have lost. I can't remember.
I think Mario Batista is fighting Umar.
Hey, hold on. Look at this. Let's break this down. Go up just a little higher. Right there. Freeze. #1 contender, Sean O'Malley, beat him twice. Umar beat him once. Peter Yan beat him once. Corey Sandhagen beat him. Scroll down.
Maybe Song Yadong.
Fuck Song Yadong. Davison Farigo beat him. Marlon Vera beat him twice. Mario Batista hasn't beat him yet. Like Henry Cejudo beat him. Like,
oh my God.
Like what? Like, are you kidding me right now? He's beaten like 8 guys in the top 10 and some of them twice.
That's so true. Holy
how can you say this guy isn't the greatest?
Wait, let's compare. Let's compare this to like another fight. Well, we can obviously Ilya just got
nobody like him, dude.
Let's even look at Volk because Volk is a legend.
Never beat Evlov, beat Diego Lopez, hasn't beat Rodriguez, hasn't beat Lerone Murphy, hasn't beat Sterling, hasn't beat Arnold Allen, beat Ortega, might have beat.
Yeah.
Like
it's
what?
So different. Wait, hold on. Let's do this again. That's wild. I never thought about it like that.
Go to Topuria.
No, well, Topuria has been the
go to featherweight and go to Topuria.
Oh, go to featherweight. Okay, let's see featherweight. Hold on. Where was it? I just missed it. Here we go. No, featherweight is back here. Okay, let's look again. So who did he beat? Did Topuria never fought Evloev because that was the fight he was supposed to get. Never fought Lopez.
Nope.
Oh wow, he hasn't fought like any of these guys.
Nope.
Whoa, that's weird. That's so weird. Hold on. Let's do one more division. Let's do. Oh, look at this
division. There's nobody like him.
Look at this. This is a blasphemy right here. What is the UFC doing?
Let's take a look at it.
Okay. Let's look at
Alex Pereira. Yes. Jiri. No. Carlos Alberg. No. Khalil Roundtree. I don't think so.
No,
Jan,
they never fought.
I don't think they
fought. He kind of beat Jan. That was a draw, but if we're talking about Ankh, but yeah, I don't even think he fought.
He hasn't beat anybody in the top, or he hasn't beat anybody recently in the top 5.
Who are you talking about? Ankalaev or Alex?
Yeah, Ankalaev.
No, I think he beat Jan Blachowicz. Kind of, it was a draw, but most people thought he won. I don't think he's fought Khalil. I don't think he's fought Alberg. I don't remember if he fought Jiri or not. I can't remember, but yeah, and he beat Alex, but that's it. Wait, that's crazy about Merab.
Merab has beaten 8 guys in the top 10. Some of them twice. 2 of them twice.
Dude, Merab should move. Would Merab ever move up?
I think he's too small.
Okay. And also Aljo's
He's really small. He's really small. I
Okay.
actually heard that he walks around at like 145 and he doesn't cut weight for his fights. I've heard that before.
That's so
I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard it I think during the fight, they were talking about how he doesn't like to cut weight and he walks around like not very high over bantamweight.
All right, MGAL4 Production says Merab is the GOAT. Barat says, I feel like Merab moved around less than usual. I don't think so. Also, too, I think the only time when Corey had him hurt was in the 5th round when he caught him with a shot, and then Merab was kind of backing up. But Merab was still fine. I felt like he moved around. He wasn't going so crazy because he was always in that position to keep taking Corey down over and over and over. I think he got like 10 or 17 takedowns or something.
17 or 18. Yeah, it's 17 or 18 because sorry to cut you off, but here's a stat. Going into this fight, he had 97 takedown attempts. He's the first fighter to eclipse 100 takedowns, and he didn't get 100. He got like 100, and I think it's a total. You know what was weird? Because it said he got 17 takedowns, but then at the final stat, DC said he got 117 total. But if my math is wrong, it's 114 if he had 17 takedowns because he had 97 going into this fight.
Right. I do remember it was under 100. And they're like, hey, it does say on YouTube that it's 117. But I remember him saying at the beginning that he needed only 3 and he would cross 100. He's like, but I don't plan to get 3. I plan to get over 10. And, then he got 17 or whatever it is, 20, I guess. And it is what it is. Merab is the GOAT. MGAL4 Productions also chimes in and agrees. Strength of schedule for Merab is crazy. Showbiz Stories wants Pantoja versus Merab. I guess if there's no other option, what if Merab moved down to 125? Holy smokes, that would be cooler.
How about this White House card? Demetrius Johnson comes out of retirement.
Nah, I don't want to see Demetrius Johnson come out, but I would like to see Merab on the White House card because he's an American citizen. He's an American champ.
Yeah, he's American champ.
They got to have him on. They got to have him on this White House card. Oh, and we're going to talk about the White House card later on. Merab versus Volk. You said he's too small, though. I don't want to.
I think he's too small, but his output is like something we've never seen before. I think I'd like to see the fight just to see if he could do it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Sorry, keep going. I got an idea, but keep going.
Yeah, no, I just like to see if he could do it. I mean, that's the thing about greatness is he's wiped out the division. He's beaten 8 guys out of 10, some of them twice in the top 10. Go up the division. It's just like when Israel Adesanya went up and tried to become the 2-division champion. Like, I just have so much respect for guys that go above and beyond to solidify themselves the greatest. And if he lost to arguably one of the greatest featherweights of all time, that's not a knock on him. That's like when Volk went and fought Islam and lost. There's no knock on that.
Okay, listen to this. This is it. This is what has to happen. Because guess what? Merab at the end of the fight said he wants to fight again in December, and he wants to have that many title defenses in 1 year and be a super active champ. But they're about to announce the Volkanovski fight against Lerone Murphy. Dude, they should do it. They should let Merab move up and challenge for the belt and fight Volkanovski and do it in December or January, whenever they're planning to have Volk do his rematch. Holy smokes, it's perfect. What fight makes you more excited than that? Honestly, there's no fight at featherweight.
Merab versus Volk?
Yes, there's no other fight.
Dude, what a crazy America. That would be a great main event for the White House card.
Here's the only thing that kind of is weird, and I wonder if he won't do it. Is the only thing is like Aljo's in that division. So what does that mean to their friendship? Because these guys are true brothers in arms. It was Aljo's wedding the day after. It was on Sunday. He showed up. I think he probably was his best man. Of course he showed up. Merab's that type of guy. Like, he's not going to bail you know what I mean? But that's my only hesitation as to why he wouldn't do it. Is because Aljo is like trying to get a title shot right now. I don't know. But
you think Aljo's in line to get a title shot?
Who?
Is Aljamain Sterling in line to get a title shot, you think?
Oh, right next. I don't know. He's calling for it. He's probably one fight away, but it could happen. He's in that position where it could happen depending on how things move. I'm not saying he would get it, but like, it's possible. But the problem is, the only way they would do it is if maybe Merab goes up, challenges, and if he wins, and he's like, "This is my last hurrah. I win and I'm out," and he turns it back, or something like that. Then I could see it. No, but this is the fight. Merab versus Volk. We have to do it. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Showbiz Story says Bantamweight Cook Merab owns this stuff. And we got so many comments. Hold on. Showbiz Story is Ankh didn't fight anybody top 5 except he was chiming in on our question. Thank you, Showbiz. Appreciate that. Justin, you think Merab could give Volk a run for his money?
I mean, Merab can give anybody a run for his money, man, with that kind of output. Here's the thing, we talked about, I think earlier in the comments, he talked about how he wasn't moving around as much. I think that was his adjustment because Corey Sandhagen has such good knees coming up the middle, and he was throwing them the whole fight. But Merab pulling off his pace kept Corey Sandhagen guessing because Corey was throwing those knees, trying to catch Merab coming in, but Merab wasn't coming in when he was throwing those knees. So I think it was a game plan. I agree with you. I don't remember who said it, but I do agree that I don't think he was moving around as much because I think he was worried about getting caught with the knees because that was Corey Sandhagen's path to victory. So instead of shooting on him 50 times, he only shot on him 25 times and got 17 takedowns to avoid getting kneed in the mouth.
25 times. I feel like Merab's record is never going to be matched in the history of MMA across all divisions. Very possible. We shall see. Either Merab goes up or Pantoja got to go up. Way more exciting. It's a million times more exciting for Merab to go up and try and challenge himself versus because otherwise Pantoja moving up, that's more of a challenge to me for Pantoja. I mean, it's obviously a challenge for Merab too, but I'd like to see Merab go up and be a double champ. That'd be super cool. Barat says Merab has said he likes Volk and doesn't want to fight him, but recently he said, you never know. Let's go. That already happened. Wait, West. I forget. Oh, Merab versus Jan. Yeah, that already happened. And okay, let's keep it moving. It's just so many moments. Oh, you guys think the moments are over? What about this one? Justin, let me hear your thoughts. Jiri is getting, I thought, beaten pretty badly in the first 2 rounds, but in his interview that I listened to on Ariel today, he said he just felt in danger. He wasn't waking up. He was kind of bored, and then he had to pull himself together and get excited and tell himself, listen, you gotta actually get motivated here and get to work. And then the 3rd round just puts it on Khalil, annihilates him. Justin, take it away. What's your take on this unbelievable? This is the fight that actually everybody's talking about. Take it away. What are your thoughts?
Man, I mean, I'm depressed about this fight because here's yeah, dude. I'm not mad that Jiri won, but I stacked up on Khalil. Wins the first round. I mean, I fucking put some serious cash on Khalil to win. So imagine first round win, second round win. I'm like, all right, we just got to survive this round and we're going to get this decision. Loses. I stacked up on Patchy Mix. Thought he won that fight. Loses. So it was a really rough weekend as a degenerate gambler for me. It just felt like my picks couldn't go right. Very happy for Jiri. I'd like to see him fight Ulberg. I think Ulberg's a really tough matchup for him because Jiri takes a lot of damage, and the power Ulberg has, I think he knocks Jiri out.
That would be a really cool fight. If Alex does move up, I'd like to see that. Oh, I just don't want to see Jiri ever lose again. I was so happy for him. Justin, I got to ask, man, Dean Thomas said something. I saw it before Dean Thomas said anything. I thought something was really wrong with Jiri. He was slipping constantly. They said, oh, the canvas is slippery. I don't think that was it. I mean, maybe
canvas is really, really slippery, dude. It's like an ice skate in there, especially if you get a little moisture on it.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I just was going to reiterate that. There's people it's complained about through and through the UFC. It feels a lot of times like an ice skate in there. If you step on a damp spot, you slide like Jiri. The couple times I thought he was rocked, but when I rewatched his footwork, I think he just was slipping because typically when we fight, it's like in the Fusion Fight League, it's like a plastic sole, and when it gets wet, it gets slippery. But the UFC is a canvas. It's almost like a boxing canvas, and it's very, very slick.
So I guess my main question was, you didn't think anything was wrong with Jiri's leg? Because he didn't look like himself. He didn't throw a single kick with his left leg. He threw really slow kicks with his right leg. Did you notice anything that looked like an injury?
Initially I thought so, but after the fight, he didn't talk about it. Especially when it's been brought up about it, him slipping and sliding, and he didn't say, "Oh yeah, my leg was compromised." And it might just him trying to be tough, but a lot of guys be like, "Yeah, well, this was happening because of this." When you saw Mike Chandler when he was getting kicked in the leg 100 times and he was rolling his ankle and falling down, he comes out, his leg was compromised, but Jiri didn't say that, so it's hard for me to believe that he was compromised.
That being said, though, Jiri and Chandler are very different people. I just think Jiri, even if he had a compound fracture and a bone hanging out of his arm, he still wouldn't be like, no, I was fine. Nothing. I just don't think Jiri would ever admit any sort of thing that could be somewhat construed as an excuse. That's my feeling. But hey, mate, you have more of an expert eye. Dean Thomas did feel like something was wrong too, but Dean Thomas sometimes has takes that obviously miss the mark as well. Barat is asking, Justin, do you think that Khalil's downfall in this match was that he basically looked like he refused to go for a takedown? I heard somebody else say this. I can't remember I think it was the Mighty Guru podcast, that he refused to go for the takedown, or no, I can't remember where, but or Jiri was pressuring him and put him in danger the last few minutes. What is your take on this, Khalil's?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about fight IQ for a second. I know I always go back to my experience and this and that. Like this guy was fighting Jacob Rosales in California. He ends up dropping me in the first round, and then he like rushes in, has me up against the corner. He's looking for those shots to finish me off. So I shoot a lazy double leg. He sprawls, and then I pull guard and I recover for the next minute. Fight IQ. Khalil Roundtree goes in there. He gets hurt. He dives in for a body lock, maybe rolls to his back, holds on to him for the next minute and a half, and he wins the fight because remember, the fight's scored round by round. I think it was just bad fight IQ. I think Brat, you're absolutely right. All he had to do was survive. With that being said, hey, listen, I'm not a guard puller. I don't advocate for pulling guard, but when you're ahead 2-0 and all you have to do is survive, roll for a leg lock, jump guard, pressure, shoot, take a bad shot, and let him get on top of you and try and hold on to him. Give yourself a chance to win. Khalil did everything in his power not to give him a chance to win. He stood there like a target. Maybe he was rocked, though. Maybe he wasn't thinking. But I remember when Jacob Rosales cracked me, I was rocked, and I stand back up, and he rushes in. He's posting on me, looking for that finishing shot. And I was like, fuck this. I dive in for a lazy double. He sprawls. I roll to my back. I lock my hands around his back, and I hold him there for the next 2 minutes to let my brain recover. We get in the second round. I end up knocking him out in the second round. So I think his fight IQ is just off in that moment.
Somebody else said, I've been listening to so many things in the last 2 days because fight got me so excited, or the whole card got me so excited. Somebody else said that one of the things that went against Khalil was he was throwing a lot of heavy shots and missing because Jiri was making a miss, stepping out of the way, and that may have tired him out and led to his demise in round 3. Do you think there's any merit to that take?
Well, I mean, yeah, he was really tired, but hey, when you're tired, I mean, how easy is it to just lay on your back and try to hold guard, catch an overhook? Because again, it's not about pulling guard and finishing. It's about pulling your guard and surviving. He doesn't even have to throw a punch. He just has to survive. And if he holds him there, in his guard, he holds him tight. He loses a 10-8, but it's not going to be like a 10-9. And you got to survive, man. And I think, like I said, I'm bummed for him, and I'm bummed for my pocketbook.
Yeah, that is a bummer. But I gotta say, as a Jiri fan, because we're all Jiri. Here's the amazing thing about that fight and the Alex Pereira fight. Both of these guys universally loved. Nobody is out there being like Yuri's a jerk or something, right? Or nobody says I don't like that Alex guy. They're both universally loved, and they both got this incredible victory. So that's a bummer. I get it for the bets, and that's terrible. But one thing that we can be happy about is these two amazing victories that are capturing everybody's hearts and minds happen to arguably like two of the best people in the sport. I'm talking through and through as human beings, the way they speak, the way they carry themselves, that authenticity, the sincerity. So this is a win, I think, for all MMA fans. This is another reason why Merab goes right in that category. And think about that. The top 3 winners, all just unbelievable people. That's what we need in the sport. Not Kobe Covington type people that are frauds, that are fake, that are disrespectful, that are just speaking lies, essentially. No, I want the real people, the sincere people, the true fighters. Ariel Helwani had a beautiful speech on this topic in particular. I'm going to make a separate video at some point later today about it, but this is what we want. This is what the sport is all about. Truth, real combat. I asked somebody at Fusion why they love MMA so much. They said it because it is the purest form of fighting. It is the truth. And that's why we love it. And we want to see truth in fighting and truth in people. In my opinion, that's what's gripping and that's what's captivating. Okay, we have a couple more comments I want to read through. Tehran says, I feel Patchy was robbed. I know Justin feels the same way as well. And that's a bummer. And he also says, one thing about Jiri can be losing a fight, then he finds a way to come back and win. That's mentality. That's strength of mentality. That is a mindset, and that is an ironclad mindset to boot. So it's absolutely incredible. I think Khalil could have clinched and avoided TKO. Yep, he agrees with you. Lane says, I still think Khalil's technically better. Yeah, but I agree. I feel the same way in the sense of like looking at his striking, his balance, the way he was landing shots. But then what does it really mean to be the better fighter, right? Like you could say better technique, kind of we go back to this DDP conversation and different things like that, but DDP's smoking everybody. So then it throws into question this whole notion of what does technique mean? What does it mean to be the better fighter? Andrew says, Shama, what's up, what's up? And Barat says, Pereira and Merab are my favorite fighters. And it's not because of their skill alone. Yeah, I'm with you. I feel the same way, and I think that's a huge part of the sport. Okay. Let's move it on to a fight on the prelims. Then we're going to get to BKFC, some future fights, and the White House card. Gautier. Did you watch this highlight?
No, I did not.
Oh my. What's that?
I only watched the main card.
Okay, so check this out. I'm on the plane back from Montana. So I buy the pay-per-view. Thankfully, Alaska Airlines had an amazing Wi-Fi connection. So I saw this on the plane, and I was like going crazy in my seat. Dude, Gautier is insane. Now, Tristan Vines, I know he moved up from welterweight to middleweight, so he's not the biggest guy. He may not be the best fighter. I get all that. But the guy was literally, I think, afraid of Gautier. He didn't engage and like danced around him for like 30 seconds. And even the commentators were like, dude, you can't do this. You're just trying not to fight him. Then he finally gets in there, goes for sort of like a takedown, has Gautier against the fence. Gautier smashes him with that elbow, hurts him so badly. Then like a superhero, grabs him and just moves him off of him and almost like gently puts him down on the canvas, then just starts raining down ground. And I mean, it was like, let's see. Imagine it's as if Wolverine, the X-Man, was in there fighting a normal human being. It just didn't even look real. Is there something amazingly special about Gautier when I'm describing this victory to you like that? Or are you as a fighter still being like, this doesn't say much to me because he needs to fight much higher level competition before I'll start to be a believer?
It's not so much fighting higher competition. It's about being able to do that over and over and over. You know, like Toby Keith says, hey, you can be as good as you once were. Maybe he doesn't. That's kind of a bad analogy, but you know what I mean? To be able to show up one time, two times, it's impressive. But you know, when we talk about these long streaks, now if he can do this over and over and over and then do it again, then you know, like Paddy Pimblett did it a bunch of times, and I wasn't very impressed. I know you were super impressed by him, but not until he fought a credible fighter is when I got impressed by him. And believe it or not, I think Tony Ferguson was the first credible fighter that he beat. And I know people are like, oh, that's on his downfall, but Tony Ferguson was still a dog, and it still was a notable name. So until he does this to somebody that has some credibility, I'm not buying in yet.
And by the way, I liked Paddy Pimblett. We're all huge fans of Paddy Pimblett, I feel like, but I never thought of Paddy as this juggernaut, as a Khamzat Chimaev, as a Ateba Gautier, now we're seeing Alex Pereira. I never thought of Paddy that way. I just thought he was exciting. This is different. So, but I get that. Can he continue to do it now in his defense, I guess I could say, or not like you're attacking him, but he's gotten every single finish in the first round. It's bananas. It's kind of like
UFC record. What's his UFC record?
I'm gonna show you. I think it's 9-1, or no, his MMA record is 9-1 here. I'm gonna look it up right now. The only thing that I worry about is obviously when he faces just like he's 9-1 here. Let me look up his thing on Tapology. Is when he does face a hardcore grappler or a wrestler. I wonder what will happen there. But here, let's take a look. So he has 3 fights in the UFC, 3-0. And his last, I don't know if you recognize these names, but round one. Any of those names you recognize?
Beyond impressive, but I don't recognize any of their names. And a guy like 10-5, you know, that's a lot of losses. 13, I don't know. I mean, it's impressive. Don't get me wrong. I actually, and I think in the guy, his contender series fight, you know, guy 6-0, very impressive. But I mean, it's now he's, in my opinion, it says 3-0, but I count contender series. I think he's 4-0. I was in front of Dana White. I know it was as a UFC caliber fighter that he fought. I want to see him do it against a credible name now.
Oh my gosh. Like I said, just so exciting to be a UFC fan right now. Ateba Gautier. And again, it's the same formula, dude. Just like Jiri, just like Alex. He's a sincere, honest, real guy. I love his mindset. I love his mentality. And he's only 23. So we have so much to go. New stars are cropping up. Man, oh man. All right. Enough of UFC talk. Let's talk a little BKFC. Mike Perry puts it on Jeremy Stephens. Dude, did you see both of these guys after the fight, how jacked up they looked? They went 5 rounds.
Yeah, they were, Jesus.
That never happens.
That was brutal. I mean, that was brutal, but Mike Perry is the king of violence. There's no question about it. He's the most violent man in the world.
Dude, he's insane. And like both of their faces look totally jacked up. Perry still goes to the presser, doing his thing. I know Ariel did an interview with Jeremy Stephens right after the fight. They're going to air that at some point. It's like you can see Jeremy Stephens is so emotional, so overwhelmed. He left it all out there. But Mike Perry, man, what a legend, what a G. And he you could say what you will about Conor's involvement in BKFC, and obviously that's catapulted things, but the real guy who's putting in the work and he's bringing people back. If it wasn't for Mike Perry, Conor's involvement would be meaningless. Not meaningless, but it's Mike Perry. That's what people are tuning in for. That's what makes it exciting. He's got something special about him. And I think what's going to be next now is either Mike Perry goes for some sort of BKFC title, or, we'll get some more super fights, but I think that's what's going to be next on the agenda. Gotta see Mike Perry. He's must-see TV. Absolutely incredible. Congratulations to him. We got Andrew says, Platinum Perry is that boy. Yes, he is. Teron said, Ateba also need vines when he went for the takedown. Oh, I need to rewatch that. I think I may have missed I don't even know if it really connected hardcore, or I don't remember if it did, but I'll have to rewatch that. Never going to trust reach and height stats. I don't know which one you're referring to there. Oh, maybe you're talking about Mike Perry versus Jeremy Stevens. I'm not sure. Teron says, I felt bad for Trustin Vines. Yeah, you said, I think, Teron, it's going to go very bad for Trustin Vines. And yeah, man, when you're fighting somebody like Ateba Gautier, holy smokes. All right, let's move on to topic number 7. This is a fight that was announced last week, but we actually didn't get a chance to talk about it on Friday. We had too many other things to talk about. Now let's talk about it. Justin, let me turn it over to you. This is going to be headlining UFC Qatar, which is so cool. Qatar is such a great country. I have had the pleasure of going to Doha before, and it's so beautiful and amazing. I think the event's going to be epic in Qatar. But Justin, what do you foresee in this matchup? How do you see it going down?
Man, it's going to be tough to get by Tsarukyan, but man, Dan Hooker, on the other hand, this is his time, dude. I'm a huge Dan Hooker fan. He's the American. I want him to win. I want him to go to Qatar.
He's New Zealand.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Oscar Willis's boy. What am I talking about? I see a white guy that can speak English, so I automatically assume American. But regardless, I'm a huge Dan Hooker fan. As you know, me and Oscar Willis are pretty tight. So anybody that's part of Oscar Willis's crew, not to mention, he gets me hype in the press conference. He's a great guy in the cage. And again, my biggest relation to him is him out of the cage, is out of the cage antics, messing around with Oscar Willis. He just seems like a guy that you just want to go have a beer with. Tsarukyan, on the other hand, incredible fighter. I just can't relate with him with his out of the cage. Not that he's a bad guy or anything. I just can't relate to him. I want Dan Hooker to win this fight. I'm such a Dan Hooker fan, and it's Dan Hooker's time to show how good he is in the world, for him to show the world how good he truly is.
I'm with you. I'm also rooting for Dan Hooker, but there's something that he said. I don't remember if it was an interview with Oscar Willis or who it was, but this is what he had to say. Tell me if this worries you or if you're like, nah, this doesn't even worry me at all. He goes, at the end of the day, it's a fist fight, mate. You can go train. Like, does Armin probably train harder than me? Yes. Does he probably not drink alcohol? Yes. Does he probably show up and study more and have more of a game plan than me? Yes. But mate, at the end of the day, it's a fist fight, and I'm going to try and put my knuckle through his face and like blah, blah. When he said that, I'm like, it's a cool thing to say, but it also worries me. Like, Armin's a lot younger than him. If Armin's really out training him and Dan Hooker's kind of like still drinking, still doing his thing and kind of not really giving it 1,000%, does that worry you? Or are you like, nah, that's just Dan Hooker through and through?
I think it's a smokescreen. I think he's lying. Because
Really?
I've said that in fights before, to where it's like, dude, I'm training my ass off. I'm doing everything right. And then like, be like, hey, how's camp? Honestly, it's a little lackluster. I'm a little sidetracked with this or that. I haven't been able to put it in, but I'm playing mind games with my opponent just in case my opponent watches that. He's like, oh man, he's not going to be on his game, this and that. There's no way Dan Hooker has this opportunity to face a top contender and he's not doing everything right. There's no way. I think it's a smokescreen, and I think Dan Hooker is going to prevail.
Actually, that is true, because if he wins, he's definitely getting a title shot. And if he wins, he's going to win. If he wins, it's going to be by knockout, I think. And so he's going to get in there, do his thing. He'll be lined up beautifully for the next title shot because he's already such a big fan favorite and such a star. So okay. So hopefully that's the case, and we shall see. Yes, sir. Love Hooker and hookers. Yeah.
I agree, man. I'm with Andrew here, baby. Let's go.
We got some more comments here. A bunch. Barat says Gautier is listed at 6'4". That's why I'm not trusting. Six height and reach that. Saw a picture of him in Strickland. They're about the same height. Okay, fair enough. Andrew says Hooker, a bad man. Tough times don't last. Dan Hooker does. Let's go. Wow, everybody's rooting for Hooker here, man. Tsarukyan does have a lot of fans. Lane says there'll probably be one of those, my heart's with Dan, but my head will be with Armand situation. I think that's probably true. I hate to say it, but it is probably true. But hey, let's see what happens. Maybe Dan Hooker can pull something out, pull a rabbit out of the hat, and really put it to Armand Tsarukyan. Yes, sir. Okay, we already read that comment. True Lane. Okay, last topic of the day, and then we're going to come to a close on this epic, historic day after one of the greatest, and yes, I'll say it, one of the greatest UFC cards of all time. In my opinion, mainly because of Alex Pereira, but obviously because of Merab, because of Jiri. We haven't even talked about Joe Pyfer. We're not going to have time to today, but Joe Pyfer, what a performance. Yusuf Zalal, great performance. I mean, we had a Taba Gautier. We had other things, other amazing, impressive fights as well on the prelims. But, man, such a good time to be a UFC fan. So incredible. Now, let's close it out with this. We have now heard officially the date. We heard late, originally July 4th weekend, then we heard late June International Fight Week. Now it's been announced that this is going down June 14th, 3 days before my birthday. Let's go. But this is apparently the date of UFC White House card. Wheels are in motion. It looks like it's going down. We've got so many things. And Dana White has said that they're not going to start making really matchups until February of this year. Justin, now that it's all coming together even more so, we've got a date, we got a timeline. Give me 3 fights that you hope are going to be, not that you know, like I know Amanda and Kayla will be on this card. I don't know if that's one you're really looking for. I love that fight, but just give me 3 fights that you really, really want to see on the White House card. Take it away.
Alex Pereira, anybody he fights, I want to watch it. He's must-see TV. Conor McGregor says he's fighting on the White House. He has to fight Nate. I want to see him fight Nate Diaz. Let's see. There's I made a video and I talked about 3. What was my third? Shit.
Maybe Merab. I can't remember now.
No, it wasn't Merab. I mean, Merab versus Volk. We just talked about that one.
Oh, Islam, you wanted some Ilya, didn't you?
Yeah, Ilya. Fuck, I can't remember, man. I made a video about it too. But Merab versus Volk. And here's the thing: that fight is so far away. All our choices that we're talking about right now are all going to change by February. So it really sucks because there's going to be so many things that are going to happen. Guys are going to get upset. Guys are going to win. Guys are going to lose. And then it's going to change our opinion. That's the thing about this White House card. And I see Andrew saying he's sick of, talking about the White House card.
Lane is very annoyed.
It's just so far away, and so many things are going to change. Alex Pereira could lose by then, and if he does lose, I'm not going to want to see him.
Let's not even put that out there.
And Merab, here's another thing. Merab has already said he wants to fight one more time this year. That's 4 title defenses in 1 year.
It's kind of unheard of. By the way, Lane, I get what you're saying, and yes, you're saying it will all change. I get that, but isn't it still fun to speculate? I mean, this is a celebration as a UFC fan for all these years. Our sport now gets center stage in the world. Like everybody's going to be watching this show. It's going to be incredible. And then we finally cross the precipice, not just into mainstream, maybe at the top. Who knows? I've said this from the beginning. Fighting is. I remember one time when Khabib was fighting Justin Gaethje. I went to watch that fight at my best friend's place, Andreas, and he doesn't watch fighting. He's been in a lot of street fights, actually. But so I go, hey, man, you got to watch this main fight with me. I'm going to come over. I'll buy the pay-per-view. Just trust me. It's epic. He's like, yeah, but I don't really understand the sport, so I'm not going to know what's going on. I'm like, false. This is the beauty of mixed martial arts. Everybody understands fighting. You don't need to understand the rules and the technicalities because there barely are really any major rules. Don't kick me in the nuts. Don't punch me in the back of the head. Like little things like that, right? No knees on the ground. You don't need to know that. Everybody's going to understand what's going on, which is why this sport has so much potential to dominate the globe. And to, as I said before, and people think it's crazy, but to beat soccer, to beat football, to beat all these other games where you have to train it, understand it, probably play it, to really get into it, not fighting. So that's why I think it's fun to talk about this card, because we're finally getting this beautiful opportunity to share this sport that can take over the world with the world, and then we'll see what happens. But that's to me why I just can't stop talking about it. Andrew says no more pay-per-view. F yeah. And that's it, guys. Justin, anything you want to add before we close out this really, really fun show?
Incredible card, but I got to go back to Patchy Mix, man. I have so much sympathy for him. I thought he won that fight. He had all this hype coming in. Patchy's a personal friend of mine. I trained with him all through this fight. And, man, these judges really need to be held responsible, man. We go every week, these judges are ruining people's lives, man. And Patchy's just another person that they ruin because, maybe if I rewatch it, but my thing is DC thought he win. I see all these guys think he win, and these judges are ruining people's lives, and they need to be held responsible.
How, in your estimation, real quick, Justin, how egregious of a mistake was that Patchy didn't get the decision on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, how bad was it in your opinion?
I mean, it's hard to rate it from 1 to 10, but I just don't know what these judges are watching. I mean, Patchy had so much control time, and they're like, oh, well, you know, some people are like, well, he went for a guillotine. Listen, nobody in the world is subbing Patchy with a guillotine. That's just like saying, well, he threw an overhand right and missed.
Right.
No, for real though, it's the same.
No,
Yeah. Now, if he was gurgling like, you know, like that'd be like throwing an overhand and getting rocked. Dude, Patchy was never hurt, never injured. So why can't I just go into a fight, throw overhand after overhand, left hook, and be like, well, he's trying to knock him out. That's the same as, oh, well, he jumped guillotine. He's trying to finish, but he never was close. That's equivalent to me missing big punches. You can't judge that as something effective because it's not effective. Just like throwing punches and missing is not effective.
It's a good point. Very, very good point. All right, we're going to close out the show there. Sucks. We reach out to, or I guess our condolences to Patchy Mix if that, you know, the way the decision went. That's a bummer. That's a shame. Like you said, that can ruin people's lives and careers and trajectories. It's a disappointment. Unfortunately, that's the game sometimes, and we do have to defer to the judges, and that's the way the game is set up. But that, you know, hopefully improvements and changes will be made at some point. But that's what we got for you today. I want to end on one note, and I want to end on a positive note. Western says, thanks, boys. Andrew says, thanks, fellas. Here's the Western says, Huzaifa's biggest MMA fan. LOL. All right, now here's the note we're going to end on. What we witnessed, in my opinion, is one of the most historic events in the history of the UFC. As Justin said, who else has done that? Who else has won the belt, lost it, moved up, won the belt, lost it, and reclaimed it again? How difficult is that? And on top of that, somebody like Alex Pereira, who so many people like Anthony Smith were convinced had a definite weakness, a definite kryptonite, that once it was exposed, he would be figured out forever. And that kryptonite was purportedly Magomed Ankalaev. But after Magomed Ankalaev beats him, and everybody says, yes, that's what we thought would happen. That's why he was being protected. He comes back with massive resurgence after resting, after saying that he wasn't at full capacity, proved to everybody that he does not lie, that what he was saying is true. Not only beats him, steamrolls him, annihilates him, makes Magomed Ankalaev looks like he did not belong after a 14-fight unbeaten streak. This is what dreams are made of. And on top of that, it happens to the best of the best, to a person that we all look up to and admire. And this is what makes the sport absolutely breathtaking and phenomenal. And this is what gives us regular folks inspiration to go out and do what we need to do in this life and dream big. So close on that. Amazing job to Alex Pereira. Congratulations, our light heavyweight champ. The UFC has been made absolutely phenomenal again. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much. Take it easy.